want to say I'm not necessarily a big fan of the blade shape itself. It kind of gives you kind of like kitchen knives type of vibes. Something that it has over the Pyrite is it has the flipper, right? I really wish my Pyrite had a flipper here. That would just completely make the Pyrite perfect for me. And this guy has all four of them. Civivi, We Knife, Sencut, right? They're all very well known for their quality out of the box. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel. Today we're going to be reviewing the Sencut Sachse, and this one is a very sexy knife. Bruh. All right, lame jokes aside, I am super excited to share with you guys everything about this knife, all the feedback, everything I've been able to gather over the last couple of weeks. This is a very fidgety EDC, to say the least. It has 4 different deployment options. You got the button, of course. It is a button lock after all. You got the flipper, yeah, right there, right? Nice flipper action. You got the thumb deployment, right? So that's always nice to have. Last but not least, my favorite, the reverse flick. Boom. Just like that. Take a look at that. Bam, 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 bam. All right, one last time. Bam. Fair measure. There it is, guys. This thing, just like I said with the Crawley review, this thing is pretty much the same as the Crawley, right? It is awesome. Very fidgety action right here with all those 4 deployment options I went over earlier. So what do we got going on here for this guy? We have a satin finish blade right there. This is a drop point blade right there. This one is rocking a 9CR18 MOV steel. A very common budget steel for this price range. By the way, this guy comes in around $45 to $50, right? Same range as the Sencut Crawley. Pretty much everything that I said about the Crawley on the Crawley review is pretty much what I'm going to end up saying for the Sachse during this review, because these two, not only are they siblings from the same manufacturer for the same brand, but as far as the fidgetability, there's your word for the day, as far as the fidgetability, they both go a long way, and they're so satisfying to deploy. They're so satisfying to EDC. There was even a time where I had this in my pocket and I had to force myself to switch over to a different knife just because of how solid, how comfortable, how satisfied I was daily carrying this knife for almost weeks at a time, right? I just kind of want to put that into perspective. So once again, we have a 9CR18 MOV satin finish blade that is a drop point. It is rocking this black micarta, very similar to the black micarta on the Crawley as well. I kind of wanted them to kind of match a little bit right there, and they kind of get that job done. This guy's available in other options, different handle materials as well, different colors, but there it is. I want to say I'm not necessarily a big fan of the blade shape itself. It kind of gives you kind of like kitchen knives type of vibes, but I mean, it gets the job done, right? It looks nice, solid, and this is a flat grind all the way to the top here, right? Very flat grind going all the way around. Again, I would have also preferred G10 handles. I'm not personally the biggest fan of micarta, but if micarta is good for you, then you have nothing to worry about there. Looking inside, looking at the guts of this guy, we have some milled liners. So the liners are milled. Should help with the weight a little bit right there. All right, you guys should be able to see that. Get a good view. These spacers are nice and thick right there. Very solid spacers. You'll notice probably there's like this baby spacer right here. This little thin looking spacer. And I kind of came to the conclusion on the last video too, on the last review, and it's the fact that they don't have, both of these knives don't have a lanyard hole. As you can see, there's no lanyard hole going on. So the way they kind of solved that issue, right, for you is they kind of added a much smaller spacer here where you can kind of loop around some sort of string or whatever, your lanyard hole. You can just loop it around this tiny little spacer right here in the back. Of course, this wouldn't be a review video if we don't do a paper cutting test, right? So keep in mind, again, this guy is not out of the box sharp. I've been using this guy, EDCing this guy for way too long now, so there's a possibility it may need a little resharpen. You guys let me know on a scale from 1 to 10. Let me know in the comments. Of course, 10 being the sharpest. Without further ado, here we go. All right, nice clean first cut right there. A little bit of a tear, you know, it just kind of depends on how it catches. See, like right there. Really depends on how it catches from the get-go, right? It might cut a little bit and then, you know, kind of catch at a different point. Well, there you have it, guys. Let me know in the comments how this guy did. Does it need to be resharpened, right? You guys let me know. I want to say, just for sake of clarity and transparency, right? Aside from obviously opening envelopes and letters and Amazon packages and things like that, the other piece of heavy use that my knives will see is cutting through cardboard, right? Cutting through cardboard is going to be one of those things that I'll do from time to time, you know, cutting some cardboard for, you know, getting the fireplace started, or, you know, something like that, doing a campfire, or maybe I'm cutting it from my composting worms and things like that. This guy has been through a lot of cardboard as well, so that could explain a little bit of why the sharpness isn't all there, but it still has retained a decent amount of it, right? You guys let me know in the comments. I look forward to the comments to see what you guys' rating from 1 through 10 will be. Now, I want to say I've been EDCing this guy, in case I didn't mention this already, I've been EDCing this guy for weeks on, probably a couple months now. And I want to say, as far as alignment goes, right, let me kind of put my hand here for contrast. You guys be the judge of that, but that looks pretty center to me right there. So no doubt that's how it came out of the box, right? Civivi, We Knife, Sencut, right? They're all very well known for their quality out of the box. Their quality check is phenomenal, right? So I'm very pleased right there with this guy. Like I said earlier, right, I had to push myself onto other knives for review purposes, because otherwise I would just keep this thing in my pocket for weeks on end, right? That being said, I'm trying to think of what else I wouldn't necessarily like about this guy. There's so much that this guy has going for it that is just checks a box for me, right? I love the fidgetability, like I mentioned earlier, right? For me, an EDC knife could also be a knife that, you know, you use obviously for daily cutting tasks, but, you know, has that fidgety factor to it. You could just sit there and just kind of play around with it a little bit in a safe way, of course, and it kind of satisfies that fidgetability itch that most of us have. So this is the Civivi button lock, right? Civivi, Sencut, sister brands, all under the We Knife umbrella, right? What they did with the button lock, and you probably remember that from the button lock review, check it out if you haven't already, by the way, is that the only deployment option on this guy is the button, right? So button to open, button to close, and that was about it, right? Now they did make a newer version of this guy, which also has a flipper, so then you will have flipper and button deployment. But this guy, you have it all, right? You have the button, you have the flipper, and both thumb stud and reverse flick deployment. So you really can't go wrong with this guy. It just has so much going for it, right? You would also compare this guy to, let's say, the Pyrite. It's so close to the Pyrite. This is probably going to be a different video as far as my top fidgety knives of all times, and all of these button locks are definitely going to be on that video. Spoiler alert. But yeah, something that it has over the Pyrite is it has the flipper, right? I really wish my Pyrite had a flipper here. That would just completely make the Pyrite perfect for me if it had a flipper as well as a button and thumb and reverse flick deployment. And this guy has all four of them. So I mean, that's something to keep in mind if you're really looking to get the best bang for your buck, right? If you're looking to get the most fidgetability out of the $50 or so you're gonna be spending on this guy, this is it right here. Crowley or Sachse from Sencut, right? Can't go wrong with these guys. I honestly can't recommend them enough, if I'm being honest. That being said, guys, if you made it this far into the video, you guys are the real MVPs. Don't forget to like and subscribe. By the way, by the time you're watching this video, it's very possible that the review for the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 will be out. So if that's the case, I'll put a card right here for you guys to check it out. I love my PM2. Such an awesome EDC. So if you want to check out that review next, go for it. Thank you guys for all your support. I love y'all. Take care. Peace.